And hello, Raiders. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. What's going on right now? We just got done with the Bragny fusion. He's already done. Oh, excuse me, Bragny fusion. Only a couple days ago, I fused him for the champion chase for the Ancient 2X. It is now May 3rd, and I thought I would record this video as kind of a public service announcement for preparing for the next fusion, which they've announced for May 11th. Probably the most difficult event in the game for the fusions ends up being champion training. And they just ask for a stupidly large number of points when you do a champion training event. Rank someone up to 6 stars, you only get 300 points. In the Brogny fusion, we needed over 12,000 points in the first training event to get the shards. I believe it was 6-ish thousand points in the training tournament to get the rest of the shards we needed to use Brogny. These are rather painful events, and I thought I'd take a minute to discuss how to do them better or how to prepare going into a fusion since we have a little bit of time. So first off, let's talk about champions. What do we do with the champion to get them all the way up to be battle ready? Well, first we upgrade their level, we upgrade their rank, right? We want to get them to 6-star. That's only in the first dimension of building a champion. Another very important detail would be, use your books on your champion. Upgrade their skills. Great. The third would be ascensions, so you need a bunch of potions to send them to 6-star. And then you come over here and you need to do gear and do masteries. So generally we need to do all these things when we build out our champions. But our training tournament, or excuse me, our fusion events focus on, most of the events are really around gear. And then a couple events are on leveling. And that's about it. So how do we prepare for leveling? First off, how many points would we get if we just took, say you just got a legendary, say you got your Brogby, and now we want to power him up to 6-star. If we did that with, say, 600 1-star commons, right? We go in here, we got nothing but these guys. We got 600 lurkers here. And we wanted to just grind out the food and push Brogny to 6-star and push him to 60. The number of points that would be for all that effort is only 12,000-ish points. So it's a little above that. Most of us aren't starting out with 600 1-stars. Most of us have, 2 stars and 3 stars, and even some dupe epics that are lying around. And maybe you have some chickens sitting here too. So, for example, I have a bunch of guys I haven't sent it yet or ranked up yet, but they're just sitting at 5-star 50 and they're ready to go. And once the next fusion event kicks in, I will push these guys up. But the points we get here are trivial. If I just threw chickens in these guys, you get 300 each, and that's only 900 points. And we need about 12,000 for one event. We might need a little more for the second event. So what to do? So what the most popular method of doing gaining points in these tournaments is whenever you're about to use one of these guys for food, you take them and you say, okay, throw a brew into them. So a 3-star gets 2 points per level, so this is 18 points if I did this during the tournament, during the event. For 4-star guys, you want to do You have this written down. 4 brews is pretty efficient. So 4 brews is 60 points for this champion in terms of levels. So every level gives you 3 points, and you level her up to 21, and then you sacrifice her to rank someone up. And likewise for 5 stars, you do more than this, but probably the most efficient. I'm not going to sacrifice it, obviously, but you put 6 brews into him, that gives you level 24. Then you can throw a common in, and he'll be level 25. And that'll give you 144 points to do that as you sacrifice your 5-star food. So that's one way to do it. It's pretty painful. It's pretty tedious, but the reason we do this is because during a fusion, you have to farm a whole bunch of artifacts. So energy is kind of limited. So it happens in between these fusion events. Ideally, store up all your brews. Your brews are going to take care of your leveling. Your energy is going to take care of your farming artifacts. And hopefully that also gives you enough silver to do the artifact enhancements. But in terms of preparing for that, we're just trying to set us up in a good situation such that ideally you spend 0 energy on campaign farming. And you can take all that energy and spend it on the artifact farming or the dungeon events. And you can completely do your champion training within the tavern. Kind of boring, kind of tedious and clicky, I know, but there you go. So, one of the big things I already mentioned is save your brews. That's probably the biggest one. In the 3v3 bazaar, every day go in, buy 3 brews. So every 10 days you got 30 more brews. You're collecting brews from your clan boss. Just let them pile up. That way you have all the brews you need to do the event. Second point I would say is save your potions, save your ascension potions. Do your ascending during the champion training tournament. During the tournament, you can get points for ascensions. It's not a terribly large number of points, but it's some points. Next is, I would say, doing gear and masteries. You can do your gear and masteries on people you want to level between fusions. So, for example, I have a number of champions who are sitting at 5-star 50. I've decided to gear them. I've already got his masteries down. I have not chosen what he's going to do yet. But you, let's see, Vogoth, Yoshi, and Kantra are basically good to go. And I'm just banking their points for later. Brogny's in progress. I might have him ready by the time the next fusion event rolls around. But you can just run their masteries, gear them up, do everything you need to do prior to the fusion event. And I actually leveled these guys up in the Minotaur lair as they were farming masteries. You can prepare ahead of time. You don't have to level them to 60 and then gear them. You can prepare in advance. And these are just points I'm lining up here. Next step I would say is use your space. Everyone has a bunch of champion space. Let your champion space expand between fusion training events. Let it grow, or let your champions grow, so that you have a whole bunch of food that is just sitting there ready to rank up when the fusion event starts. So I'm filling out a bunch of 30s here. Here's a bunch of 20s I filled out. A little bit on the 10s here. And between now and when the next fusion starts, I'm just going to slowly fill these in. And then when the fusion training event starts, one of the first things I do is I start ranking all these things up, and I collapse my champion food down into higher rank food. So I tend to float between having a lot of food and very little food, usually around the ancient 2x event. I will I will summon like crazy during ancient 2x events, and then I will just keep as many of those as I can, and then I will let my roster kind of float to the biggest size, and then during the fusion training event, I will collapse things down. I will start consuming food in the tavern as one does. And the last tip I will say is use a sparring pit. The sparring pit is actually quite good. Um, you have to manage it a little bit by pushing. I would say push up your champions to about 5-ish levels before max, and then let the sparring pit take over and you just finish filling them out. Because no one wants to click on this all the time, even though if they're low level, it's less than an hour to level them up. But the higher they get, the longer they take, and while you're sleeping, these guys just accumulate. What is it, like 4,000 ish XP an hour? There's a lot of hours in between fusions. Well, not so much between Brogni and the new one they just announced, but you can use this to just completely fill out your food, building up your food slowly as you wait. And I would just skip these other training events. Like, I'm not trying to do any of these training events in between fusions because these are so taxing. These are so irritating to me, and I imagine they're irritating to most people. But I just don't do them. Like, we know there's a fusion. We know there's champion training coming. You may as well just skip all those training events and wait for the fusion one. I found it much more energy efficient to say, oh, okay, there's a dungeon divers going on right now. Oh, and there's also a dragon tournament. I'd rather get the rewards from 2 events rather than 1 event. So I'll be doing the dragon tournament and 4th here. And then I'll just switch over to Ice Column tomorrow this when the switch is over. Anyway, hopefully that helps people prepare for fusion training events, and hopefully you don't do these non-fusion training events because I think these are just too much of a pain and kind of an energy trap. You are much better served by not doing any of these and just waiting for the fusion. That way, the fusions are a lot easier because you are ready for that training event, and you just spend the fusion time mostly farming artifacts and improving your heroes. And hopefully, if enough people do that, the company that runs the game will get the message that these training events are pretty awful, and maybe they might make them a little easier on us. But we will not hold our breath. Anyway, last parting thoughts is that there's probably going to be a void 2x once the new fusion starts for the Spirit Dark Elf champion. So save your voids, and best of luck to you on your polls and the fusion. And take care.